Hi guys, I'm Cambro, and this is my card review of the Boundary Beyond Mythos Pack from the Arkham Horror Forgotten Age campaign. So it's the second Mythos Pack, and it just dropped last Tuesday. So I picked it up, played it this weekend. It was very fun. And we got 13 new player cards, which we'll go over today. So I'll be talking about my thoughts of them, what card they work with, and so on. There's also a story asset in the pack, which I won't be covering in this video, so there won't be any spoilers. So our first card is Second Wind. It's a Guardian event, Spirit and Bold rated. Cost 1 to play with 1 willpower icon. And it reads play only as your first action. So as the other Bold card, you can only play it as your first action. Heal 1 damage, 2 instead if you draw a Treachery this round. Then you draw 1 card. So it's a very simple Guardian card. You pay 1 and you heal 1 damage, potentially 2 if you draw an encounter card. And then the card replaces itself. So we have a couple of other healing cards in Guardian. We have Emergency Aid from the Dunwich Legacy, and we have First Aid from the core. And if you're playing someone like Mark, who's constantly need the healing, I think Second Wind is probably a better call than Emergency Aid, because it costs 1 instead of 2, which is not a big deal, but it's important to keep those resources intact for the Guardians. Also, it replaces itself, so you don't have to spend an action drawing it. And you probably will play this when it heals you 2 damage if you drew a Treachery. And a Treachery card is basically everything in the encounter deck except enemies. And there's usually a lot more Treachery cards than enemies. And the fact is, if you're playing someone like Mark, who I think this card is the best in, if you draw a monster or an enemy, you wouldn't have time to play Emergency Aid anyway, because you would be engaged with it. So you probably have to spend your 2 or 3 actions to kill that enemy. And then it draws a new card, so you're like constantly drawing, which not necessarily necessary in Mark, but it's still good. And also it's 2 healing for 1, and it doesn't it replaces itself when you draw. That's actually pretty good. You could almost splash it in one of the Dunwich. Skids can take it, but I don't think he needs it. So yeah, I think I'll in my Mark deck switch Second Wind, Emergency Aid to Second Wind. Solid first card. The second card is Take the Initiative. It's a Guardian skill card with 3 wild icons, quite a lot. And it reads, commit only to a skill test you are performing. Take the Initiative loses 1 wild icon for each action that has been completed by an investigator this phase. So this is all, and it's practice and Bold rated. So it's another Bold rated, but it's a skill card, so you can't really play it. But it's kind of have the same effect. So if you're about to do, we're in investigator phase. If another investigator does their turn before you, this is a blank card. It doesn't have any effect, because then that investigator would have taken 3 actions, and this would have lost all 3 wild icons. So you the Guardian or whoever's running this has to be the first player if they're planning on using it. And if you use it on your first action, that's 3 wild. That's kind of good. And if you're using it on your second action, it's still an Unexpected Courage, which is still good. Unexpected Courage is played in almost every deck because it's very solid. On your third action, it's only 1, but maybe. But another thing to think about or consider is that if you use this during the Mythos phase, when you draw encounter cards, no one will have taking action. So even if you're not the lead investigator and you draw your card like second, this will still have 3 wilds because no one has done an action in the Mythos phase. Well, except if someone do quick thinking, but also if you, what is it called? If you want to use survival knife, you can pitch that because in the enemy phase no one has done actions either. And if we compare it, so it's a guardian card with 3 wild. We have 1 in Seeker, Inquiring Mind from the, it's Dunwich, right? Yeah. Which you can only commit if there's a clue, and then we have the Survivor, which is you can only commit if you have at least 2 or below your base is below 2 the test. So we have 3 now. I don't think Mystic and Rogue has any. Not like just 3 solid. I still think Inquiring Mind is better than Take the Initiative. But Take the Initiative is still very good and probably worth running on a lot of Guardian decks. Because, I mean, you're going to take test in the Mythos phase. And a lot of time the Guardian is the first player. So, solid card. Our third Guardian card, so we got 3 Guardian cards in this pack. Is well prepared. And it's an asset this time. So we got on this event, skill, and an asset. It's talent rated, costs 2 to play and 2 XP, no pips. And it reads fast, exhaust, well prepared. You choose an asset you control, you get plus X skill value for this skill test, where X is the number of matching skill icons of the chosen asset. So you put this down, and let's say you have a machete. Let's say you have a beat cup. Then a beat cup level 2 actually. Then you could, and you're about to do a combat test, then you could tap. What are you tapping? You're tapping well prepared to get +1 combat. Or if you were doing an agility test, you could tap it to get +1 agility. And that's free. It doesn't cost you any money. You're tapping well prepared, so you can only use it once per turn. But I mean, +1, kind of solid for nothing. You can do this every turn, and you probably will, because you probably will have assets with icons on them. But if you're doing, I mean, some assets are definitely better, like Roland's special gun. You could, and I actually mailed Matt to ask how the wild works, and the wild works for whatever you want. So you could either get +2 wild, +2 combat, or +2 agility. Or someone like Zoe's Cross, you could +3 combat, like each turn. And that's really good. So if you're playing Zoe, I'm sure you would have to find both cards, but possible. It also works very well with the talent we got in the return to Zelda, because they all have like 2/2, like physical training, 2 wild, 2 will, and 2 combat. So then there will be some kind of talent show deck. I'm sure that will pop up. And still, even if you have a machete, I'll give you a +1, which is not bad. It's only 2. You have to find it, as with all the talents except the permanents, but still good. Next card, it's our first Seeker card. It's an how long are we? 10 minutes. It's a Seeker event. Cost 2 to play inside it, and it's called Truth from Fiction. 2 intellect icons. Play only if there's a clue at your location. Place 2 secrets on an asset you control. And I like to read the flavor. How do you know I'm mad? Said Alice. You must be, said the cat. Or otherwise you wouldn't have come here. Alice Adventure in the Wonderland. Found that kind of fun. Yeah. So, like a lot of Seeker cards, you have to have a clue at your location to play it. And then you play 2 secrets on an asset you control. So you might be thinking, which card have secrets? and they are not a lot. There are currently only 3 of them. You probably know Forbidden Knowledge. There's no reason to put more secrets on it. The only one who maybe would want that is Agnes, and she can't take this card, so that's out. Sorry. Because you would get 2 money, but this costs 2 to play, so it would be silly. You could use it on Arctic Glyphs, the untranslated version, to boost up to translate it, which I guess is a thing you can do. But currently the card that it probably works best with is In the Known, which has 3 secrets, and you can spend 1 secret to investigate any revealed location. It is really warm here in Sweden right now. So with Truth from Fiction would get 2 additional investigations, which I guess that's good. You could, there's always that barricade in the known deck that I don't think anyone has ever built, but it's there. And Truth from Fiction helps that archetype if you want to be stay in one spot and just investigate from a distance. But currently Truth from Fiction isn't that great, as cards with more secrets on them are introduced. It might become a more attractive card, but for now I think it's going in the binder. Next card is True Understanding. It's the Seeker skill card with a wild icon, and it reads: commit only to a skill test from an ability printed on a scenario card. If this skill test is successful, discover 1 clue at your location. So we will talk about the second part first. If the test is succeed, you discover 1 clue, and that's very nice, especially if you can manage to pull this out of at a high shroud location. Getting testless clues always good. So why not just play something like an art student, or what is it called? It's from the courses, right? Working a hunch. So if you're True Understanding is better than art student in the fact that you don't have to spend an action to play this card, because you're committing this to a skill that you probably would do anyway, and it's better than Working a Hunch, because Working a Hunch is fast, so you can't use the argument of actions, but this costs 2 compared to True Understanding. Art Student gives you a body, Working a Hunch is fast, and True Understanding lets you get it for free, no money, no test, while you're doing 1 test. But the first sentence here, commit only to a scenario test, it's kind of hard. Scenario cards include acts, agendas, location cards, treachery cards, enemy cards, scenario reference. So you may be thinking, oh, locations, I'm usually investigating them. The thing is, you can't use True Understanding on a normal investigation, because the action isn't printed on the location. If it has investigate, then you can do it. But if you're using your normal investigation, you can't commit True Understanding. And that's the downside of True Understanding. There are scenarios where I don't think there are any tests you do on scenario cards. I can't really figure it out. But treachery cards, you're always gonna draw them, so I guess you could pitch it there, actually. I hadn't thought of treachery cards. Now actually this card might become better. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. If you could commit it to a treachery card, then it's actually really good. Yeah, I was going to say like you could run it in Jenny. Why the hell would I say you would run it in Jenny? I had some idea about it, but no. So you probably will pitch this to treachery cards, which you know you're going to pass, and then you get a free clue. Pretty sweet. Next card, it's a secret asset. It's costs 2 to play, 2 experience, and it's talent rated. Has a willpower and a agility icon, and reads fast. Place one of your clues on your location, and exhaust quick study. You get +3 value for this skill test. So this is kind of nice. Like most people have figured out, this really shines in Roland. Because Roland is all about having clues on his location. So you pop this down, you kill the enemy because you're so strong now, and then you get your clue back. This, however, if there were multiple clues at your location, maybe you wanted the fresh clues, now you would only get it back. But still, it's a very strong effect. +3. Someone like Rex, who collects a lot of clues, also probably likes it. But other than those two, I don't know. Maybe you could run it in like Ursula, because sometimes you're just moving with her and doesn't trigger her reaction. Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I think only Roland liked this card. So the thing with the quick study is that it's competing with higher education in the Seekers, and higher education is such a solid card. So outside, like Daisy and Rex probably would run higher education. Ursula might run the Return to Select talent, and quick study I'm not entirely sure would run that in Seeker. Okay, next card, it's Hatchman. Hatchman, it's a rogue skill card, practice rated, with the 1 agility icon. If this skill test is successful during an evade attempt, the next time the evaded enemy takes damage this turn, deal 1 additional damage. So it's kind of like a vicious blow for rogue. Vicious blow from the core, you deal damage. If you deal damage, do 1 additional. This is you evade it, and if you manage to hit it this turn, or if someone managed to hit it this turn, deal 1 additional damage. So it's probably very good in Finn, because he's all about evading, so you'll be evading it for your extra action, getting a little help, and then you could, if you're hitting it or shooting it, you would do additional damage. This takes damage, doesn't have to be from an attack though. If you're doing something like sneak attack, which deals 2 damage to an exhausted enemy, this would deal 3 damage now. Which is very nice. Like Finn could evade it with Hatchman, shoot it with his trusty 38 and do 3 damage. Probably very good. Not much more to say about Hatchman, but I definitely think it would be run in Finn, if especially if you don't have like a very dedicated fighter, so you could, because 3 health enemies are very awkward. You want ways to deal with them, and this is a good card for that. Next card, it's a rogue asset, talented rated, so you might have noticed a pattern now. Everyone is getting a 2 XP talent. It has a combat and intellect icon. Cost 2 XP and 2 to play. I don't know if I said that. And it's spend 3 resources and exhaust high roller. You get +2 skill value for this skill test. If you succeed, gain 3 resources. The higher the stakes, the better his luck. So you spend 3 resources, you get +2. And if you succeed, you're getting that money back. So it's kind of like you never paid for it. You just got +2. And that's kind of nice. I haven't tried this card out yet, which is unfortunately, because I think it's really good. Like in someone like Finn or Jenny, who has a lot of money. Spending 3 resources, and then, because the thing is, you're not really spending them, you're getting them back if you win. And if you could, I mean, this is definitely some start for like opportunities deck, maybe. But the thing is, what I'm thinking, because you can have 2 high roller on the table. If you manage to get both of them down, you could pay 6 and be +4 to everything, and then you're pretty much to guarantee a win on everything except red. And then you would get 6 money back every turn. So you would pay 6, get 6 back. I think it's a very good card. It might be too expensive, because you might start failing tests. And if we compare to the permanent streetwise, I mean, the numbers aren't too good. You spend 3 to get 2. Streetwise, you pay 2 to get 3. And this is permanent. You can use this for combat and willpower, though. But the thing is, the thing is with this, you're not supposed to be paying it. So, yeah. I don't know, it looks like a very cool card. You could also use double or nothing to it, because then you will get 6 resources back. You paid 3 and you got 6 back. So if you're like a 2 shroud location, maybe you could like flashlight, higher education, double or nothing it, because the double of 0 is still 0. So then you will get 3, find the clue and get 3 resources. Might be okay. No, I'm very excited about High Roller to try it out. Next card, now we're moving into Mystic. This is Enraptured. It's a skill, Mystic skill card, practice rated. Has a intellect icon to read. If this skill test is successful during an intention event, place 1 charge or secret on an asset you control. So this is kind of a boring card for me. You're pitching it to an intellect test and you get 1 charge. It's good. Like charging up shivering is good. If you're like a mystic who's using this, you probably can't pitch it to yourself. You kind of have to pitch it to some other one who's doing intellect, because a lot of, I mean, Jim has 3, right, in intellect. Yeah. So I mean, you wouldn't, and I don't know what a catch had, but you wouldn't run this in a catch anyway. So she has chargers to go around anyway. Daisy could use it, which is good for her. She probably wants those. She's not a very good fighter, so having like a couple of more shiverings could be good for her, and she's gonna pass the intellect test. So yeah, probably okay in Daisy. Next card is Recall the Future, and this is our Mystic boost card in a way. So it costs 2 to play to experience 1 intellect and agility icon, and it's augury and ritual traded. So it's not actually talent traded, and you might see why now. So it has a reaction. When a skill test you are performing begins, if Recall the Future is ready, name a chaos token. If the chaos token is revealed during the skill test, exhaust Recall the Future, then you get +2 for the skill value. And this is also, I think, really good. First off, I think the picture on this card is so cool. It's one of my favorite arts, probably. Andrea Sarfirkatos. Very cool. So how does this work? You play this down, you do a test. You have to remember to call, but I guess you could probably like lock it that you will always name one token, but it shouldn't be too hard to remember it. You can't though, like, oh, I wasn't supposed to call this when you have drawn the token. It might be a little boring if you do that. So let's say you're 3 above and playing Forgotten Age. If you haven't seen the Forgotten Age, there are no -4, but there are -5. So then you could call -5. And if you didn't draw it, okay, sure, then Recall the Future is still ready. But if you drew it, that would be turned into a -3 because you would get +2. And then you can't use Recall the Future anymore that turn. But that's the thing. So you're always going to call the thing like the worst token is always going to be +2 for you, which is really good. You could combine this with something like Defiance. Then you could maybe call one. The tablet doesn't work, and the Elder thingy is +2 right now. So even if I draw any of those, I will still succeed. So the only thing is I will fail on red. And then you're playing Mateo, so the red doesn't fail anyway. So yeah, it's a cool card. Very strong. Definitely cool. Next card is Try and Try Again. It's a survivor asset for 1 XP, cost 2 to play, 1 will icon, and uses 3 tries. So I believe 3 tries or X tries is the first. If Try and Try Again has no tries, discard it. After skill test has failed, if a skill card you own is committed to the test, exhaust Try and Try Again and spend 1 try. Return that card to your hand. And if you remember, we actually have an upgraded version of this for 3 XP, which doesn't have like tries. You can use it as many times as you want. But I never tried try again. Hard to say, because like the only one who probably wants to use it is Ming, because she's all about those skills. And if you're committing something like a deduction or something and it fails, it would be kind of annoying. But she couldn't take Try and Try Again. She can, however, take the level 1 version, which you can only use for three times before it's discarded. But I think 3 times is enough. That by the time you find it, you have to still fail a couple of times for it to break. So I don't think this is like a downside. You're saving 2 experience. So I don't know. I think the level 3 version is not something that need to be in the game. But the level 1 version might run it in Ming. But other than that, I don't know. I'd rather run like Lucky Foot if I'm planning on failing stuff. So let's continue. Last card. It's Cornered. It's the Survivor talent. Cost 2 to play, 2 experience, willpower, and combat icon, and has 1 simple text. Fast. Discard 1 card from your hand. You get +2 skill value for this test. Limit once per test. So this is very solid. It's probably the easiest one. It's probably the maybe strongest. It basically turns every card in your hand into an unexpected courage for you. So you're sitting with, you have played your fire axe, you have another one in hand. You pitch the fire axe, you get +2 to agility test or whatever, because you're getting +2, so it doesn't matter. Every card is unexpected courage. It's very good. It's very solid. You can't do this to another investigator, so they're not technically unexpected courage, but they're basically unexpected courage. William Yorick probably likes this, putting cards in his graveyard, which he's planning to play later. So you could like, if you have a leather coat in your hand, and you want to play it, but you also have an enemy on you, then you could pitch the leather coat to Yeah, because you could pitch the leather coat to get +2. You kill the enemy, and now you get to play an asset. You get to play the leather coat, and this works because you're actually, the cost is that you're discarding the card. You're not committing that card. You're discarding that card, and then you get +2 from cornered. Wendy can use it to get events into her grave. Improvised weapon actually has a way to get into the discard pile now without playing it like first. Very, very solid card. Also works with Dark Horse. If you're planning to be broke, this doesn't cost you any money once it's down. So very cool card. Very nice. So that's all the cards. It's a very nice pack. I see now that nope, never mind. It's a very nice pack. There's a lot of good cards in this pack. The scenario in itself was also very fun. Not as good, I thought, as the last one, but the last one was amazing. Still a very solid pack. Yeah, the Forgotten Age has been very fun. A lot of great cards. And I hope you're enjoying this videos. So that's it for me. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And until next time, good luck with those token pools.